The presentation of today's racing program is a copyrighted broadcast of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem. And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga Racecourse on a sun-splashed Sunday at the Spa. Temperature will be well into the 80s this afternoon. The main track is fast, and the turf courses are firm. Portable rails are up, 12 feet on the melon and 9 feet on the inner. And we have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of nearly $540,000. We'll take a look now at the changes for the 10-race card. In the first race, these horses will be 2 pounds over, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. Second race, scratch the 3, chasing a legacy, scratch number 3, and all horses will carry 1 pound over. In the third race, the scratches, scratch 7, Starship Bubba, 12, Kid Chocolate, scratch the 15, Tikvin Flu, and 16, Heirloom Kitten. Scratch 7, 12, 15, and 16, and note that number 2 will be 2 pounds over. Fourth race overweights, numbers 3, 4, and 5, 2 pounds over. Race 5 will start the Empire 6. Scratch number 4, My Sea Cottage, scratch the 4. These horses are 1 pound over, numbers 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. And also scratch the 9, Cousteau, and the 11, Spicy Marge. So in the fifth, scratch numbers 4, 9, and 11. Sixth race, scratch the 8, Primacy, the 9, Papa Choc, and 10, Miss Papina. Scratch 8, 9, and 10 out of the sixth. In the 7th race, scratch number 4, stage left, scratch the 4, and number 1 is 2 pounds over. A couple of overweights in the 8th, numbers 2 and 6 are 2 pounds over. The featured 9th race is the 62nd running of the Grade 2 Bernard Baruch. And we have overweights. Number 2 is 2 pounds over, and the rest of the field will be 1 pound over. 10th race. And again, these overweights, these horses will carry 2 pounds over. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And scratch the also eligibles, 13 Montauk Summer through the 16 Bubba Chuck. Scratch 13, 14, 15, and 16. We are fast and firm with a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $539,940. We'll be back at 12:30 to recap the changes. First race post is at 110. Up next, the Sunday edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
morning, everybody, and welcome to Talking Horses, presented by our good friends at Saratoga Water as we conclude week number 2 at Saratoga. Today is the 9th day of the meet. It's a warm day, but a beautiful day here at Saratoga. Nice 10-race card ahead of us. Bernard Baruch, Anthony Stabile, and I'm Andy Serling, by the way, in case you didn't know. We will be discussing Baruch as well as the entire card in just a few moments. But first and foremost, we want you to become a member of Naira Bets. We want you. Naira Bets wants you. We will match up to $200 of your initial deposit if you use the promo code SPA. It's for new members. Join Naira Bets and find all the many wonderful things that Naira Bets has to offer, including, they call it a summer double. Saratoga's last race, Del Mar's 4th. Through the app only, a $25 or higher win bet on each race, and you get a $5 freebie. Also, the contest every Sunday. We'll be having a contest through Naira Bets. You can only play through Naira Bets. Yet another reason to be a member of Naira Bets. $250 buy-in, all cash prizes. Register now. You can still register, I believe. Naira.com/challenge. We'll be having these every Sunday, and I believe the registration opens the Tuesday before. And, of course, as always, Saratoga Live. Every day, all day, covering all the races with the usual cast of characters. That'll be 1 o'clock today, 1 to 6:30 today. I'll be on early. I believe I'm on with Lafitte Pinkai and Richard Migliori, as well as Maggie. We'll be the early team. And the really early team, it's you. It's the Big A, who I've been told you will be venturing back to New York. Don't you think your mother, don't you think Phyllis deserves like 2 months off from you?
I think Phyllis is happy that I'm coming home.
You'd like to think
there
that.
were crab cakes waiting from the crabs. They went crab.
There's no chance they moved away with no
they went crabbing.
Forwarding address.
They went crabbing in Ocean City, New Jersey, and they brought some crabs back. She made some crab cakes. I'll have some pancakes tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing Mom and Pete and Phil, of course. Phil's waiting with cigar in hand for me.
That reminds me of you going home getting the crab cakes that your mom made when our friend Dan Silver used to work with us. Once, just before Saratoga, he went clamming in Jamaica Bay. He was sick for the first 2 weeks of Saratoga. Shockingly, he was sick for the first 2 weeks of Saratoga. Yeah,
that is not a good idea.
Yeah, it was a good move by Dan, a very clever move by him. So make sure, I don't want any problems.
Early Baruch, obviously we changed the schedule. Do you have a favorite Baruch?
Yeah. Lore's last career win when he beat Paradise Creek and 4-Star Dave. I can still remember watching it, and it was back on a Friday back then.
Yep.
And there have been some great Baruchs over the year, but for me, yeah, Lore beating Paradise Creek and 4-Star Dave, just the 3 of them on the racetrack together, I'll never forget that edition of Baruch.
Mine's a little more selfish. I was a big
Yagley
fan. No, it was Hap. Yeah, but close, very close. It was Mott, Paulson, and Bailey. Yeah, it was Hap. I think he paid $760. I watched it at the old Aquatoga in the backyard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it might have been the last year. It might have been 2002, right? The last year the yard was there when they started building the casino.
Oh, really?
8 years before it was open.
The backyard at Aqua was great.
Backyard at Aqueduct was sensational.
Great.
That was I didn't come up here the Saturday morning, get up 8 o'clock, go pick up a bacon, egg, and cheese on Rockaway Boulevard, a couple of iced teas.
Just one?
Go wait. Mom would come
Nobody
with the picnic.
believes this.
Dad would come. Oh, yeah, we had great times at Aquatoga.
Let's get to work.
All right. Wise Dan, too. The last Wise Dan win when he beat the Chiefs horse.
I'll take Lore and Paradise Creek and lay the points.
All right.
Race number 1, you've got 3 horses coming out of a maiden race. Silver Token, more like it. They ran at 3-2. And the speed was Smite. And I prefer Smite, who did all the dirty work. Maggie was really on top of this one. Remember Maggie saying in the paddock she really liked how Smite looked. And she was right. He really ran his eyeballs out, and I'm going to take him to wire the field, second off the layoff, second time for Jeremiah Englehart and Luis Saez.
Yep, he's a current 5-2 favorite. We have an hour and a half to post almost.
He won't be favored.
But he won't be favored. He'll be in front, though. I mean, at least he should be.
He should be.
And like you said, he did a lot of dirty work last time out. He faces 2 of the horses that ran by him, More Like It and Silver Token.
You don't like him?
I do and I don't.
Why don't you like him?
I do and I don't. Well, I thought he was going to be a shorter price than David had him on the morning line because it looks like he's supposed to be able to clear these horses. I do wonder,
Just because a horse is in front doesn't mean they're going to be win or
no,
favorite.
I understand that, but I think, it's a half mile shorter than it was, a half furlong shorter than it was last time. He has the race under his belt. I don't think he'll be higher than second choice. I would imagine once I put on top the number 3, Advanced Strategy, is going to be the favorite in here. I do wonder, though, Shandian is making his third start off the layoff. And I know he's not as fast on paper as Smite. But I do wonder with the rider change to a more aggressive Manny Franco, if they try to keep him company on the front end.
I can't imagine. I don't imagine scenarios that don't make sense. You do, but we'll just have to agree to disagree.
That doesn't make sense.
What do you like? No. What do you like about Advanced Strategy?
First time turf for Jimmy Jerkins. Joel Rosario's going to climb aboard. This horse debuted, well, now it's about almost 8 months ago.
That was a decent race. Convict never ran back, right?
He
It was a Gary Contessa first-time star, never ran back.
Never came back. More
entered at least once.
Broke his maiden 2 starts later, I believe.
Yep.
He failed as the favorite the next time, then I won.
Why is this supposed to be a turf horse? Everybody seems to like this horse. And isn't Jimmy's barn a little chilly right now?
It is, but he's a Caraconte out of a big brown mare. The mare was unraced.
It's not a turf family.
I would think there's a ton of turf influence on the top.
I know, but doesn't mean this is a turf horse.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
This seems like a horrible bet as the favorite in the same way that horse that ran second in the 5th race yesterday was. You're betting a horse that had a solid dirt fig that's going to get bet off of its dirt number on a completely different surface. I'm not saying he can't win. I've got him second. But from a gambling standpoint, I think he's a terrible gamble at a short price. And he's very similar to the Al Stall horse. Not that horse ran badly yesterday. He ran fine. But he also didn't win. That's
okay.
Where this is the kind of horse that what you really want are pedigree horses in these maiden races ran like badly in their dirt debuts that you feel have a real significant chance to move forward on the turf. Whereas horses like this, it's just sort of everybody gets sucked in. They see the dirt fig and they don't.
I'm going to trust Jimmy putting this horse on the turf.
Okay, I trust him with the turf.
Because again, like you said,
the other day.
I mean, his dirt race is really good.
It was
really
good.
It was fast enough race. I mean,
I couldn't agree more. That's why I have him second.
So the fact
but I
that
think
he's
he's a
putting the
terrible
horse
gamble
on the
at a short price.
Okay.
Race number 2. So this one you believe it's the most likely winner. I don't believe he's the most likely winner, but that's another discussion. Anyhow, race number 2, we've got Affinity. This was one of the craziest things of the entire Belmont meeting. The 2 horses from Brad Cox's barn dueling each other in submission in this maiden race. Wasn't that was wild?
This was something. They went fast for the track. Yeah, I mean, you want to have a little. I prefer some experience. Going 5.5 today off a 5 furlong debut. Obviously, we've already seen this horse's speed. And I don't want to necessarily say you're guessing with the others in here.
You are guessing unless you have a tip. You tip on the 5?
Well, I heard Kimmel could run a little bit.
Okay, that's okay.
I wouldn't say fastest horse
John
in the world.
Can run or the horse can run?
The horse can. John can't.
Arrowheart.
Yeah, Arrowheart.
John's not a runner?
I don't think John's a runner anymore.
Okay,
I think
you
John
think
used to be a
Arrowheart
runner.
can run? Okay.
Arrowheart can run a little bit. Yeah.
We'll find out about John's ability to run later. We'll give him a call.
When you look at his pedigree, though, on paper anyway, doesn't it talk a little turf?
It's turf and dirt from the Dam side. It's turf in the second generation. Well, you know the Dam. The Dam it's all where the Dam's family is.
No.
Oh, it's all Godolphin. This is a Godolphin family.
Oh, I don't remember this horse being.
I don't
Godolphin.
either, but this is all Godolphin. I looked them up. This Dam, second Dam. So the first Dam was Godolphin for sure. I think the second Dam was too.
What was the first foal? And the Dam was 2 for 11, but I don't remember her being a Godolphin. But anyway,
she was.
I'll trust you on that. Yeah, obviously.
She was. Yeah, I didn't remember her either. So it's not. Don't. Maybe she didn't run New York.
Maybe.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, it's all guessing for me after that, and that's why I'm going to usually side with the horse that ran. And Affinity didn't set the world on fire, but ran fine in there. I put the 4 Bellamy Dolce second. You know me. Gary Gullo's always in my play, and Gary can win with a first-time starter.
3 siblings.
Anything.
3 siblings. All of them won.
I don't like the 4-year gap between this one and the prior foal. The 2 Judge and Jury is a 5-year gap. They paid an awful lot of money though for Judge and Jury.
Yeah,
didn't
they did. And I noticed that too about the gap. I noticed these tapestries are starting to go for a lot of money. We saw one the other day went for $350.
Yeah.
This one went for $200,000.
Has he had particularly good foals?
I'm trying to. I was racking my brain on Friday. I couldn't remember Friday morning.
The one. That's a good family. It started out with those 2 good horses, Associate and
Amberjack,
who was
good old Amberjack.
Rick Dutrow and Amberjack, one from Mike Hushin and Dale Romans.
But again, it's been such.
I
that's 10
thought
years.
Dale Romans told me he was coming. I got a text.
I thought so too. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, you know what? He may have said August.
Okay. I hope we see him.
Right. We're still in July. What's today? 26th.
Think he shaved that beard off by the time? I'm going to have to request the beard comes off.
Maybe he's looking to come north to look for work closer to December. I don't know.
Maybe he's making Jeremiah Johnson too.
Maybe.
You know, he looked to be ready for it.
What was the name of the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and the bear?
Oh, The Revenant?
The Revenant.
Yeah, that's a wild movie. Yeah.
Maybe he's looking to co-star in the sequel. I don't know.
Owen Hardy trained high pitch. Steve checked in, the third member of the Beatles.
Okay.
Checked in and never ran Naira. So
Okay.
there we go. All right. And the thing is, since Amberjack and Associate, there have been a bunch of foals that didn't do any running.
Yeah.
Race number 3, you know, I picked a horse I felt I had to pick, and I'm not sure of my order here. I feel like any of my top 4 can win this race, and we have the same. No, we don't.
We almost have the same. You put Chantry Flat. I put Mandate, but I could have easily.
Can I bet
changed
Chantry
that.
Flats will beat Mandate and lay a 2-1 in lunches?
Yeah,
You won a lunch from me
I did.
on the first race, yes. So we're down to 50 again.
Yeah, I'll take that.
2-1. Give me the pen.
Give me 2 to wow.
Mandate couldn't beat Chantry Flats as long as Chantry Flats finishes. I think I'm fine. So, there's an argument I should have picked Chantry Flats in here, to be honest. You like the number 10. How many Chad Browns on top will this be?
A lot. Today's a lot. There's a lot of
Chads
Chad Browns today. I plan on winning a lot today. I told you.
You plan on winning a lot with those horses at 2-1 and less?
When I don't
Crushing it with all those short-priced horses?
A lot of winners
You're becoming
should be
quite the
the way.
chalk eater, aren't you?
I've become
It's not about picking winners. It's about giving out horses that are
I'm
run
well
better than
aware.
their odds.
I have become a
Anyway,
little bit of a
tell us
chalk
about
eater.
the 10 Road to Meath. Never liked this horse.
Couple of fresh You put him second.
I know. I don't really like them.
Oh, you never really liked him. No, I know you've always had a little bit of an issue with
still
this.
think
I
he's
don't know
that good.
if you went back there and he bit you or something.
You know what?
one
I
day.
should have put him third. I should have gone 2, 6, 10, 5 here.
Wow.
He can win. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest
Why
with
do you like him?
This was a race where I did not have a lot to say.
But why'd you pick him on top?
If you let me finish, I'll tell you why I picked him on top. I'm not a Chantry Flats guy. I also feel like Shooting the Breeze has had a lot
We're
of
going to
chances.
get to those 3 horses. Let's talk about the horse you picked on top.
I'm talking to him. I'm talking about it. If you let me tell my story for a minute.
No, we got replays. We got things to show.
Okay, so
you
let's
want
start
to
showing
start with Shooting the Breeze? We can, and then we'll get to your definition why you don't like him.
Source is dropping in, back in for a tag. He broke his maiden for a tag. And I don't like the other contenders in here, really. Now, that's not to say I'm going to lean on this horse heavily because I don't trust him either. But I've told you this at the beginning of the meet. I'm going to default to Chad Brown when there's a race. And I
You're
don't
always
care of the
defaulting
price.
horses that are overbet when you do this.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Yes, there is.
Yeah,
you can
there's not.
acknowledge that they're bad value and you're better off going elsewhere in your selections.
The only other horse.
It's not about picking winners, Anthony. It's about providing value and giving people alternatives.
No, Anthony, it's about picking winners
No,
and winning money. That's what it's about.
It's about winning money.
Winning money.
Anthony, if you continuously bet horses that are underlays, you will not win money. Period.
Okay.
That's a fact of racing, and you know that.
I
So
do.
let's be clear. But don't tell me it's about winning money
again,
by picking underlays, because that's an insult
hold on a second.
to everybody watching.
I'm not up here thinking I'm going to win money in every race. I don't have a strong opinion in this race.
Okay, fine. But if you don't have a strong opinion, why default to an overbet horse?
Because if I don't have a strong opinion, I'm going to try to pick the winner. And I feel like
you and I are
the horse the most
such
likely
a
is going to win.
different page.
I'm not going to take a swing with a listen. I really liked Overjoyed the other day. Bet a lot of money on Overjoyed. Overjoyed was 8-1. If I like a horse that's a price, I'm going to tell you I like a horse that's a price. If I have a race where there's 3 horses that I think are even, and this was kind of it's a weird drop because the one time the horse ran for a tag, he won. It's not really a traditional drop because he's already been in for a tag. I think this horse is the most likely winner of the race. I don't trust the other ones. This horse has 4 or 5 races on his card that's going to beat these horses.
No, he doesn't. First of all, he's got only 3 turf races, so he can't have
3 turf races.
He's got only 3 turf races, so he can't have 4 or 5 races on his card that are going to beat this field. And his dirt races are awful. He's got one race, the last race based in the Beyer Fig, that'll beat these. I'm not saying he can't win, but I have a very strong argument, a disagreement with you philosophically. Anyhow, we'll look at the 3 horses coming out of the same race. And I'm sort of married to Reckless Spirit because he just never got to make that clear run in here. He's second off a layoff, and I thought he really stepped forward for Jimmy Bond, and the hope is, and clearly he's not good enough on his turf races, but I thought he ran well in here. He just got caught behind horses and at least never really had a path to run in. He had a duck in behind horses. Now, I don't know what was going on with Chantry Flats, but he should have been much more forward in this race, and I think today they'll be much more forward with him. Now, the pace could be quick. You've got some potential other speeds in here, but I don't think he's going to be as lax as last time. Shooting the Breeze is Maker off a claim. On the other hand, you claim for 40, Maker usually looks for starter allowances. But it's Mike Rapoli who's happy to run him back and try to get the win. Shooting the Breeze may win, but he's not a winning type, and he claimed from Grand Motion. I wouldn't want to claim a lot of horses from Grand Motion. Think I'm going to move him up a lot, even for Mike Maker.
Yeah, this is again. I don't trust Shooting the Breeze. The only other horse I think you can put on top is Reckless Spirit, but he's going to have to improve off of all of his
10 to 1
races.
morning line.
There's no shot he's 10 to 1.
What's he going to be, 8?
6.
No. There's people here who think Mandate has a chance. One of them actually has him 3rd in this race. There's one person here that does. Out of a 3-year-old race? Well, he lost to Bray. Would you like Bray in here?
No,
would you like Bray in this? Would you like Bray in this spot?
It wasn't just 3. It was 3.
Would you like Bray in this spot?
No.
Okay, just checking. Okay. Race number 4. I'm guessing we agree. We can finally have an agreement. We can take the even money.
I'd rather
fitting
not.
Horse. I don't want to agree if you're picking horses like the last race, Road to Meath at 9 to 5 morning line. Let's take a look at the Great Dansky at Oaklawn 2 starts back. I mean, if Brad Cox has 2 shots today, so far over the meet, it's only day 9. Though for Brad Cox, that's like the slump of all time. He's got the maiden and this one. I mean, isn't this horse just supposed to win, Anthony?
My radio co-host Bobby Newman hates when I say things like that. Like this horse is just better than he's supposed to win.
But he is. I mean, on paper, he is.
I don't know.
I hate to say it, too. You know me. I don't like to say it. But on paper, this horse just lays over this bunch.
Victory Boulevard's race, 3 back at Aqueduct.
Gives him a chance. That
was a good race.
Yeah,
it was a short field. He flew home.
I know.
You know.
No, I agree.
But, I mean, after those 2.
He ran against our collector last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put him 3rd. I could have put him 2nd.
Right.
You're not
Our
wrong.
collector didn't get off that well. Gets a little less ground today.
What about Double Shot? I mean, he did run behind More Grateful and got a 72 buyer. Is it a negative that David Donk is running him for 40 with a New York-bred non-winners of 1 condition left?
You got the condition.
3-year-old could have some room to improve.
Even if you don't think that you don't think he can
take one shot in the condition and find out he doesn't belong.
Here, not for nothing. Finger Lakes is open now. Got the conditioned races up there. I don't like this. This horse in for a tag. I don't like that.
This one's a little smelly.
I don't like that.
I agree.
When you have all the conditions,
beginning early in
the winter
season.
The winter eventually comes.
David will be there with him. Yeah. Feels like a bit of a give up. Try him in a couple of those races because he ran figures that are fast enough with any routine improvement. He could be a competitive horse.
Races make him a competitor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
If the Great Dansky doesn't show up,
you make a great point.
There it is.
Might be the first official great point of the show.
Yep. If the Great Dansky doesn't show up, one of his races can win this race.
Race number 5. Oh, we agree again in race number 5. It's I'm such an agreeable guy that Anthony wants to agree with me. Peterman. Is there a Peterman, do you think?
I don't know. I'm not a big. You like Peter?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I like Peter. Yeah. That's some really good Indian food. The Indian place on Court Street?
Me and Curry and I don't agree.
Oh, my mom and I
love it, but
yeah.
I can't mess with it.
Yeah, all right. Peterman, I just thought this horse, Grand Motion wanted turf first time. He ran, he got the race under his belt, and now he's in here.
Yeah, 6 furlongs in the mud, now cuts back to the 5.5, half to Lemonist, who we all know from around here.
He wanted to go about 8 miles.
Yep.
Somebody else did one on the turf, too.
At least there's some turf in the family, and like you said, Graham was trying to get this horse on the grass first time out, and I don't have as much of a problem with the 2-year-olds running on dirt first time out, even when they're turf meant, because I always think the experience of a race is going to be beneficial going forward.
Talking about a horse that experience could be beneficial going forward, let's take a look at the entire race for River Tiber.
Yeah.
It's amazing. This is a horse, the full to that hit it a bomb, right?
Yep.
And who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf at Keeneland a few years ago. 5 years ago. It's amazing,
That's
right?
crazy.
Feels like 10 minutes ago.
Going back this year.
This guy had no idea what he was doing out there. I mean, he was green as could be. See him steadying, and this, you see him steadying a little bit in there. That was the break of the turn. If you watch the head-on, you'll see it was the break of the turn. He was in a little bit of tight inside. But, boy, for a horse that was bet as strong as he was first time, from a trainer like Wesley Ward that has him is ready to run first time out as any trainer in the game, I mean, this guy just didn't know what he was doing out there. Now, maybe he's not that good. And that's a real possibility, but boy, did he run like a horse that just had no idea out there, right?
No clue. And at Belmont, it's a little different here. 5 furlongs at Belmont,
Get
you
that
are
turn fast.
right on top of the turn. Kind of like our dirt races.
Wasn't just the turn, even the stretch.
Right.
He's lugging out.
Well,
he's
but that's what
moving forward. Guys are passing him.
At the very least, if you break and you have the run like you have here, which is a lot longer than the run to the turn at Belmont, you're able to settle in, get a little cadence. As soon as he settled down inside, boom, the turn hit him. And now he has a 3/16 of a mile turn he has to deal with. So, yeah, and then when he got into the stretch, I mean, he just looked like a horse that was figuring things out. And look, that race was, when was that race? Was in June? Was early June, right? You'd almost think under normal conditions, he would have run before that. So he's still just trying to figure things out, and now he has the race under his belt. I found it curious that Wesley Ward has 2 horses in here. Rod Ortiz Jr. rode River Tiber first time out.
He's on
and
the other
now
one.
he's going to ride the first time starter, the number 2, out of door. And there's another one.
It's after a couple turf winners.
Yep.
They're cheap, but they didn't do much running. But
Right.
paid a lot of money for this.
Paid a
Outwork.
lot
It's
of-
another outwork. That's
paid
what you said
two-
the other day. You said that. There was a-
290,000, right? This horse's best, this mare's best runner to date is Pieri Bianchi, who's done all of her good work on the main track. But there are 2 or 4 turf winners in the family, and I think it's interesting. I know some people think.
No, I think it was interesting.
the
Irad was
fact
on this
that
one. He said
Irad's
it.
on this
I
one
agree. No, I thought
and
the same
not
thing.
on,
Not
and
disagreeing.
not back on River Tiber, I think is something you have to take
No,
a look
I
at.
agree. You don't know the story.
No.
You never know. But I almost wonder if it's Irad saying, "I don't want to tell Steve Rushing, I don't want to ride that horse again."
I also think the filly.
Possible.
Yeah, that's absolutely possible. I also
Or
think
he had a
the
choice. And he said, "I don't want to ride that horse again."
Yeah. I also think the filly on the rail, the number 1, Mad Maddie. Now, you and I alluded to her on a previous episode of Talking Horses. Andy and I talked about Mad Maddie. Mad Maddie. She's trying the boys. She's inside. She has speed. From what we've seen out of the 2 runners so far, not a lot of speed out of either of those colts. So maybe if one of the firsters aren't that fast, maybe she gets loose on the boys. I don't know.
I want to say that I want to bet against her after her last loss. And I think I even said that when we were covering this race from Churchill Downs. And I want to bet her against her on the dirt. And I know she's an American Pharaoh, but she doesn't really have much turf pedigree to speak
No.
of. So
Mare's unraced,
the
but like you
second
said, she's
dam was
American
Shug,
Pharaoh.
right? It was a Phipps. It's all the Phipps family, the second dam, right? And there's usually, to be fair, while the dam was the second generation was 0 for 1. It seems like the Phipps family, their horses all have turf pedigree because there's some old rulers in there or buck passer. There generally seems to
far
be.
back enough, there's
There's
some turf
always a
family.
little bit. There's always
Yep.
seems to be some kind of turf influence. They don't know how to handle the turf, but a lot of them do. I think the interesting horse is the 5 Hilliard. Phil Gleaves is shrewd, and Phil Gleaves gets his 2-year-olds ready. And this horse is a half to Swamp Rat, or maybe a full. No, it's a half to Swamp Rat, who's actually, what's his name? Hat-Trick?
Yeah.
And this horse is Temple City. I love Temple City. And Swamp Rat, didn't he win first time out with
won
Dylan and
first
pay
time
31?
out, and then
Rajiv, yeah.
He won first time out, and then he came here and ran second in the Skidmore that year.
And he also ran second last year to one of the value horses. Proposition? Is that the, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I thought Hilliard was the long shot. I must put him on top as a little bit of a stabberoonie for
Yeah,
Phil.
big number.
I'm going
12
to use
to
that
1. He'll
horse.
be a big price, too.
Shall we take a break and hear
I need
from
a drink
our
of water, yeah.
good friends
I
at
need some,
Saratoga Water?
Saratoga water.
Be right back.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. He is the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Serling. You're heading back to the right. You'll be right by the Big A. You'll probably past the Big A.
Yeah. By the time I get home, I will go. I'll take the Van Wyck and I will go past the Big A.
You know what they say?
Past the Big A.
Nobody ever beats the Van Wyck. You don't watch Seinfeld.
My 4 years at going to St. John's, I lost many battles to the Van Wyck. Many battles to the Van Wyck.
Van Wyck took you down. It's taken everybody down.
Yeah.
Race number 6. We'll take a look at cost-benefit breaking her maiden first time out. I don't have any knock on her. I thought she ran very well first time out. I know the second-place finisher came back and lost, but she actually ran 5 buyer points higher in that defeat. Sugar Source just ran better than her that day. I think Sugar Source is on the rail. The Gray is a solid runner in here. I don't have a knock on her. Picked her second. She'll be a short price, but I'm not against her by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. I like their debut. I think Joel Rosario just put her on front. Flat mile on the inner turf. Speed always helps. I think she'll control. And if she takes a step forward, like most horses do, second time out, especially horses that run well, I think second time out, Chad's horses take the step forward. I think she'll beat these horses.
Okay. I think she's the horse to beat, but I think there's a lot more going on in this race. I mean, how about a horse that I have fourth, you don't have in the money, like Whitez? Look at the race that Whitez ran 2 races back at Churchill Downs. She was second to Crystal Cliffs, who was unlucky to lose her next start in the regret. And I know she didn't get involved in that race, but she kind of had a Nowheresville trip in her next start. Why can't she win this race?
You know, these flat mile races up here on the inner, I feel like you need a horse that has some kind of a kick. I don't know if this filly has much of a kick. I think she's more of a grinder, and I think she'll be better. And her faster races have come at a mile and an eighth, mile and a 16th.
You know what the mile races up here actually are? They are the most random races that we run on the entire circuit. If you go through the history of them...
But don't you feel like it's random because
See,
it's
plenty
won by a
horses
lot of
wired.
speed horses?
Yeah, but it's random who gets the lead. It just seems they're just random. I've noticed this over the years. They're
The aggressive riders get the lead, right? Glorious Empire got the lead in one of those and turned
I'm sorry.
it into...
I'm sorry. You don't think that Jose Ortiz is an aggressive rider? I think one of the reasons that Jose's been riding so spectacularly lately is he's really
I'm not
been
talking
aggressive.
about the distances. I'm talking about overall the aggression on that inner turf. I think there's the reason that there are some...
I don't know if there's a reason. I don't know, because I've seen a lot of just weird things happen in these mile races. So I don't know. But over the years, there's a lot of randomness, more randomness in these races in general than other races. I don't know. I took Logic and Reason because she showed enough ability as a 2-year-old that she could absolutely be contentious here. I also thought she'd be a square enough price. And I'm not saying she's going to be in front because probably cost-benefit's going to be in front today. But she resented being rated last time. And if you watch that replay, and you should watch the replay, don't take my word for it, but watch it, you could see she just to me, she gave up. And she didn't want to be rated. She wanted to be more forward. And I would assume with the rider change, they want to be more forward as she was when she was successful in turf races as a 2-year-old. So I just felt like she's got 2-year-old races fast enough. She wanted 7, so I'm hoping a mile. I mean, maybe she wants a little shorter, and that's a possibility. But she's 6-1 morning line. She's probably going to be in the 5-6-1 range. I don't see why she wouldn't be. I don't love her, but I thought that she just didn't have a fair chance in the return race. She still ran well enough to be competitive here. And with a more forward trip, I think she'll run a better race.
All right. I think she can...
Yeah, I mean, you pick her third. Obviously, you're not against her.
She can absolutely win the race, yeah.
But why did you, besides your mad love for Bill Mott, why do you have Eye of the Soldier second?
Well, I like the fact that you see her at Monmouth last year.
It helps me take the cap off when you try to drink from the bottle?
Go ahead. Did you just do that? That's great. I'm sorry I missed it.
Go back to the videotape if you
2
want.
at Monmouth, 1 at Keeneland. She only got beat 2.25 lengths for second in the Jessamine last year after breaking her maiden off the turf at Monmouth. First start at Monmouth. Timmy Hills had this filly. Bill Mott has her now. Made it a point to run her along in her debut on the turf down there.
I'm going to talk about the Jessamine. And I'm going to talk about her dam as well. Do you remember her dam?
I do.
Who trained her?
That I don't.
Kieran.
Kieran for...
Probably Harvey Clark. I recommend people watch her race in the Jessamine, and I don't want to make my friend Chris DiCarlo mad, but I think Chris DiCarlo, by the way, would agree. She was First of all, she was wide the whole way, but she was badly caught up in traffic. I mean, badly caught up in traffic. And to the extent that the entire race was occurring in front of her and just getting farther and farther away from her. And when Chris was finally able to extract her, she was really running at the end. And I think there's a possibility that she would have been second there and ahead of Waitez, who I would think would be a shorter price than her today, and I'm not sure she run better. Now, you could also argue that, of course, she was running at the end. She hadn't done a stitch of running earlier in the race, but she was wide the whole way, so I don't know. And I think she may have some ability.
And that kind of wasn't Chris's fault because 14-horse field, you're stuck out in post 12.
I'm going to blame Chris.
I never. I've made too much
such
money with
a
that
wise guy on
I've
Twitter.
made too much money with that guy to blame him. And
I
you want to know
like
what?
Chris. I'm
I
kidding.
think
I'm
he
kidding.
went after him. I think he kind of made a point of this himself on Twitter. I think he kind of took a little bit of the.
I'm not saying. Listen, most of the trouble horses get in are not riders' faults.
No.
You know, it's or you can say it's their fault, but riders are faced with a million, you know, a plethora of split-second decisions, and when they don't go wrong, it's almost, you know, the less bad choices you make, the better your chances are. But it just turns out that you have these choices, you got to make them quickly, and some are going to blow up in your face.
And more often than not, when you have the wide trips,
fields?
it's not a rider's fault because they just
they're
posted out there.
Little
Nothing you can do about it.
Race number 7. I have an opinion in this race.
What's your opinion, Andy?
My opinion is this horse will probably win, but you're supposed to bet against. And that's the replay we're watching, a Fast Getaway. I have second, you have on top. And you can't really get a better trip than Fast Getaway got. This was when the rails were down and the inner turf was hugely biased towards inside runners. Spent the first half mile on the inside, behind a fast pace, getting a perfect trip, and he came out and exploded. Now, having said that, he's a horse who's been very unlucky in a number of races to not win. So he might be a little better than he looked going into it. I'm not sure how good this race was, and it's maybe a little bit of an illusion. And I don't know this horse is going to be 9-5. I think this horse might be 4-5 today, and I don't think you disagree with that. This horse is going to be good.
I mean,
and I'm not against him. I
6 to
just
5
feel
is
like he's
probably
going
the
to be
destiny.
6-5 or less. That's fair. And I don't think he's really a 6-5 shot. I didn't put the stat up, but Lyndon Rice does not have great numbers off wins on turf. They're just okay. 12 for 66 off wins in turf races from 5 to 6 furlongs, $1.68 ROI. And I'm telling you right now, 18% is not going to be good with this horse.
Hasn't he just run against?
Well,
situationally, hasn't he just run against? I mean, Mo Maverick was running in these optional
it's not his only
claimers.
good race. I don't disagree. No,
You know,
I'm not.
Dowse's Beach, when Dowse's Beach was.
I have him second. I'm not against him, but I think he's going to be a dramatic underway.
Okay.
And the problem is, where else do you go? You know I love Mike Maker. I think this horse has been beating up on kind of mediocre fields in Florida, going 5 furlongs, with all due respect to his owner, Jordan Wadcott, who I'm friendly with, but I think Jordan would probably agree. This is a test for him.
He's also got to get faster.
I agree. He's got to get faster.
He's
he doesn't
not
have a race
winning
that's good
all
enough.
of those races down there, and he's still got to get faster to face this bunch. Yeah, I mean.
He's got Mike Maker in his corner. And the 7, American Mandate. It's amazing, right? He's still 1 for 15 with 7 seconds.
Scary.
I remember I bet him with Heichel beat him first time out. I bet Grump's Little Tot when he lost by a nose to him, so of course I lost to him the only time he won. He doesn't even get the job done on the right surface.
Well, hold on a second. This horse ran one time on the turf.
And he ran his usual second and ran a race that's probably not good enough to win.
They went 5.5 furlongs in 108.4.
Okay, maybe he loves yielding
over
turf.
a course that Churchill admitted was yielding. What does that mean? Does that mean the grass was this high and?
But maybe he likes off turf.
Yeah, maybe he does. And maybe he's gonna love. Maybe he's gonna love, hearing his feet rattle. I think
feet rattle. He's not a speed.
Not on the front end. On an actual firm turf course. You know what I mean? I mean, what if this?
He's 1 for 15, and he's an equine chandelier. Do you want to disagree with that?
I'm not. But what I'm saying to you is, the same way Prioritized was running on the wrong surface, maybe this horse was running on the wrong. Andy, you can't dismiss this horse off one race in a bog.
I've got him third, Anthony. I didn't say he can't win the race. He's 3-1 morning line. You think he's a great 3-1 shot?
We're indicting him off of the fact that he just
doesn't win.
He just fails.
He's going to get in the grass and go, suddenly I want to pass horses? Maybe. But at 3-1, you think he's a good gambler?
No, I didn't see the morning line, and I did. But
he's going to get bet. He always gets bet. He's got fast figs. He's got to get bet. And that's why I picked Morning Breeze, because I know he doesn't win. And you know I know all the flaws of Morning Breeze.
You're going to get the best of it on the top order with
He
him.
is going to be the biggest price of these horses, and he's the only horse that has turf races that are faster than Fast Getaways races. And he also got, with all due respect, an atrocious ride last time. Just in all way. He was supposed to be in forward, maybe in front in that race, but forward. He got a horrendous ride last time, and Kendrick is not going to make those same mistakes. Now, he's still a horse that doesn't win. He's got 4 wins, so he's got 3 more than American Mandate, but he's still got 19 seconds and thirds, so he's got the character flaws too, but at least going to be a better price, and he's got the races good enough to win.
He does.
That's why I picked him.
He does.
When he loses, I'm not going to be surprised. But
He
I think
does.
if he wins, he's going to pay $11 in here. And I don't think I think he's got better credentials than an $11 horse. How's that?
Fair enough.
You know?
He's hard to argue against. He's hard to argue against because he's the only horse in the race, like you said, that has comparable races to Fast Getaway.
Better.
And he's
Got
gonna
better races than Fast Getaway.
He's going to be 2.5 times the price.
Yeah, that's my general feeling.
Yeah,
I couldn't pull the trigger on Fast Getaway because so much went right for him last time. And the other thing to say about Fast Getaway is he's not exactly a horse that gets his nose in front too often either.
No, when he went, but what I do like about him, he wins his turf sprints. He wins them.
He's the worst.
And I like when turf sprinters leave their rivals.
This isn't I hate this horse. This is I don't want to bet this horse at a super short price.
That's fine.
That's all.
That's
I mean,
fine.
I would use
and I agree
the
with you.
6 and 8 as A's in any multi-race bets.
I do think he'll be closer to 6 to 5 than 9 to 5. I would agree with that too.
It's a little hard to pull the trigger on the others. You know what I mean? It's so much easier to pull the trigger on him because they're not winning types. The 8, 9's a little cheap.
He hasn't run as many times. He hasn't. God bless you. He hasn't run.
It's allergies.
He hasn't failed. Yeah, exactly. Me too.
I'll tell you something else. He's probably not good enough. Jake Rocks.
Oh, there are never bookmakers around when you need them. That we were going to get off this set without you mentioning Jake Rocks today. Impossible to happen.
I'm going to tell you I have a positive ROI picking Jake Rocks. I do.
I have a positive ROI betting Chris DiCarlo. That's
for 1 for 13. That's not bad. Race number. You have to admit, Jake Rocks has been unlucky in some races, and he's been in some stupid spots.
You find it.
I love Jake Rocks.
The new Crocheron kid, ladies and gentlemen, Jake Rocks.
As you know, I love horses that are have been unlucky a lot of times. I feel for them. I have great empathy.
You're great. Yeah,
I'm just such a exactly.
You're
Thank
a regular.
You.
I mean, I don't know how you're not doing like.
It's incredible. I know. Race number 8. Let's go. We got lots to talk about. Happy Saver is such a tricky horse. And
toughest race of the meet.
I was against that money horse yesterday for Todd, and the only thing I was right about was he didn't win. I was wrong about everything else.
Yeah.
He ran very well in there. It took a great ride. I knocked Eric Hensel for his ride. And the other horse, Eric gave a great ride to prioritize that, and he made the difference in there in winning and losing. And I was dead wrong about that horse. And he stepped forward and ran a big race. I'm not against this horse. That horse I was also against that horse because I didn't think he should have been 2-1 yesterday. Now maybe the way he ran, he probably should have been. I'm not against Happy Saver. I'm going to talk about some stats. I didn't put them up. Todd has very good numbers in general, stretching out in the dirt off maiden wins. But the numbers, and he still doesn't have positive ROI, but that's partly because Todd's horses take a lot of money. But they win at a high percentage. They don't in New York. In New York, the percentages are significantly lower, and the ROI is higher. The ROI is much lower, and I don't know. He was super impressive. Obviously, Todd is thinking like the horse yesterday, Jim Dandy, and then maybe if things go well, the Preakness, and why shouldn't he? And I think that horse yesterday showed he belongs, and he's trying to probably do the same thing with this horse. This is a tough field. There's some interesting horses in here, Anthony.
One of the things that you and I both kind of dislike is when people just say, well, what did he beat? I think that is a legitimate gripe with Happy Saver.
He beat him like a drum. I disagree.
And that was what I was going to get to.
Destroyed that field. He destroyed that field.
He did it the right way. I'm always impressed when horses win going 7/8 first time out. Now, I do think this is a little bit of an ass to get the 2 turns in the second start, and I'll tell you what. As weak as that field appears, this field is full of some landmines for this horse today.
I agree. What do you like about Summer Kid? What did I miss?
I like this horse's second rate. I mean, this horse came off a 5-month layoff for Gustavo Delgado down in Florida. He laid up off the lead. He made the lead, put him away, and just galloped home.
Okay. I didn't see him at all.
He
but
gets
good luck.
Gaffleone. There's plenty of pedigree
He's
that says this horse.
Tyler's riding well, but everybody in this colony is riding
He's getting plenty of. Tyler does a lot of things well. Positional speed is one of them, and this horse should be able to work out a very nice trip in here. What are you shaking your head at?
I don't agree with you in any respect. He's an unknown quantity, and perhaps he'll take another step forward and win here, but good luck to him working out a good trip here.
I think he's going to work out a good trip in here.
I don't, so we'll agree to disagree. I want to talk about high amplitude because of the two Chad Browns, I prefer Basquiat, who I think is going to run well today. The reason I'm showing more of this race is it seems to me, from watching his last two races, that he has trouble with the turns. It seems like he just seems to get out there, and it just seems like, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know what it is with this horse, but he's run some reasonably fast races, but I don't know, it's just, and we probably could have done better in showing this race, regardless. I don't know. It's like he just loses ground and position around the turns. He doesn't accelerate. So isn't a two-turn race tougher for him? If I'm right, maybe I'm wrong.
I think he is going to be, based on what you're saying,
take a lot of money in here?
I think he's going to be aggressively ridden today.
I would agree he should be. He doesn't have the speed to be close, but I think he should be.
To try to
alleviate. Happy Saver's fast. It's fast.
To try to alleviate and negate what happens on the turns, I do think he'll be ridden aggressively today. I think that's a way you're trying to get it out of him.
I'm going to tell you, I was setting you up yesterday, unbeknownst to you. And because I knew your selections in this race, and I knew that you didn't have Beau Luminary in here. Now, you weren't wrong to think that Locally Owned would run well yesterday. In fact, I think you had a cold try in that race.
I did.
Yeah, it was a great pick. Because he did. He ran huge. The problem is, Anthony, you don't have Beau Luminary in this race, and I think you need to take a moment and you need to watch the last race, because if you liked Locally Owned, and you were right, and think of the race he ended up running, so now even in retrospect he's even better. This horse ran significantly better than Locally Owned. Not a little better than him, and I'm not one of these guys who beats up on Julien Leparoux, but he lost all position with this horse, and Louis Saez is not going to do the same thing. So remember how well Locally Owned went, and I urge you, Naira Bets holders, you can watch the replay. I'm going to take Beau Luminary. He's got a little hang, maybe a mile and eighth a stretch. I'm not confident of beating Happy Saver, and I think both the Chad's horses are dangerous, particularly Basquiat, who I think is going to run very well. I don't think he ran that badly last time. I think he's going to run very, very well today.
I do too.
This is a good race. This is a really, really good race. But Happy Saver is the horse to beat. I'm curious to see what he does, because he looked last time like he might be a very good horse.
He has a question. He has the distance question is a big one to answer.
Race 9. We got to move along. I didn't use. I used too much time. We're going to have to do the last race very quickly. Let's start out with Holiday, and we're going to blow through these horses quickly, Anthony. A minute a horse.
Yep. My biggest problem with him is he ran his two best races at Gulfstream Park, basically controlling the lead. One little bit faster pace than the other. Maybe he controls in here. He's got to go a mile and a 16th.
Got to deal with Some Like It Hot Brown.
He's got to deal with Some Like It Hot Brown.
Ran great last time. I don't like this horse. I agree with everything you said. I think that he had everything his own way in those races. And I know you're going to say, well, Aquaphobia came back when the UN, correct. So Paranoia came back, correct. Those horses were badly compromised. And then they got in races where they got very good.
They had no chances.
They got very good
scenarios.
They
went from no chance to perfect scenario.
Right, exactly. I mean, I understand he ran big races. I get a lot of people to like him. I won't be shocked if he's favored in here. I want to see him do it in a much more competitive spot. That's all. I'm not going to be shocked if he does, but I'm against him. Listen, I thought Good Governance ran great like you did last time. We'll take a look at his race, and you can talk about him.
You obviously,
it's a tougher spot, though.
When you look, you see horses in here have faster speed figures. In fact, I believe every horse in here has faster speed figures than Good Governance. It's almost like the Indian Pride situation. You're betting this horse a little bit on the come, but this horse has run very, very well in all three of his races. You know, he was still looking to figure it out. I think last year in the Saranac was just 27 days after his maiden win.
He still beat Seismic Wave.
He still beat Seismic Wave that day. You got Some Like It Hot Brown and Halliday in here to go. He's supposed to pocket up in third, a few lengths off the lead.
But let me just say, I made the same argument against you that I should make against myself. He's not going to be regularly value in this race.
There'll be no.
But I think
he'll be 6 to 5, 7 to 5.
I'm going to tell you something. I think I'm not a big fan of the chance the outside horse Halliday. I think both Seismic Wave and Some Like It Hot Brown can win this race. We'll show Seismic Wave in the poker. And this was a really interesting race because it's so easy to look in retrospect and say what a rider should have done. And I'm sure Joel Rosario went back and looked at the race and said, gosh, if I had just waited to make my move, I would have kept social paranoia locked in for life, and he wouldn't have gotten out and been able to beat me. But Joel realized the pace was, this is a wacky race. Pace was slow.
I would like someone to ask one of his riders. Source looks like he could be a little bit of a pain to ride, too.
Maybe.
He looks a little bit of a little
I do
problematic.
wonder if he's better in one-turn mile races.
I wonder
That's
that,
what worries me
and
a little
now
bit.
you're going to ask
win.
him to outkick Good Governance.
Well, I mean,
if Good Governance is as good as everybody
good
thinks he
horse.
is, he's not going to outkick Good Governance.
I don't know. Everybody thinks he is. Good Governance is a nice horse. I don't know. Everybody thinks he is. Seismic Wave's already done it. He's a graded stakes winner. Good Governance is a graded stakes winner potentially.
That's what I said.
Everybody doesn't think that. I think Some Like It Hot Brown is dangerous. His Fort Marcy was. Don't forget in his Fort Marcy, that horse was being eased in the turn. The rain broke, and he ran after this horse, and he was a runoff in here, and he still held on for third against a very nice field going a mile and an eighth. Are you sure that this horse, who always had a little potential, might not just be one of these Mike Maker horses, improved?
He could be, but his best races are on or close to the lead, and he'll have to deal with Halliday today.
Why can't he just stalk him?
He's gonna have,
Well, I tell you what, he's not going to have a more excruciating pace than he dealt with in this race.
No, he's not.
I mean, and it's a shorter race. For me, my big opinion in here is that I want to bet against Halliday.
Then that's fine.
So I'm going to use all of the 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
That's my plan.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm leaning very, very heavily on Good Governance.
That's fine.
Today.
I'm just, race number 10. I'm going to give a speech in race number 10. Seize the day.
Carpe diem? You gonna give a speech like that?
I personally think this is one of the oddest entries I've ever seen. This horse ran a 77 buyer in a strong maiden field out in California for Bob Baffert on the dirt. So what do? They geld him. They send him to New York. They give him to a different trainer. And Rudy Brissett's horse running very well. I found a lot of good stats for him, by the way. But he's not Bob Baffert, with all due respect to Rudy. I don't mean this as an insult. Maybe one day he will be, but I think he'd agree. And he's running for a tag. First time on the turf is a half to new money, honey. And you can get him for 40. I understand China Horse Club isn't think they're going to win a Derby with him or whatever it is. This horse is worth so much more than $40,000, and you think they'd run him on the dirt. He'd be favored probably. There's that dirt maiden race at a mile and eighth on Wednesday. He would be no worse than second choice and maybe favored behind the Pletcher entry in there. What is he doing in this race? They don't try him on the turf in a maiden special first?
When I picked him, I almost...
He might win, but this is crazy. Am I wrong? This is nuts.
When I picked him, there was a little part of me figured that he was going to scratch. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't make any sense. There it is.
Completely agree.
It's a great point.
No, that's a great point because you agree with me. Might be a very stupid point. No, and here's the thing. They didn't scratch.
They didn't scratch.
And,
I know.
And they will be lining up to claim this horse. I know he's a gelding, and they gelded him because they don't want...
this horse is gone.
Yeah.
This horse, there'll be a 10-way shake for this horse today.
If he doesn't handle the turf,
he ran the 77 on the dirt.
So what is the story?
I don't know.
He's all yours at a short price.
Well,
I want the 3, the 8, 9, and 10 in this race.
You're not going to use them at all? You got to use them.
I want 8, 9, 10. We'll see. Let's show Economic Policy's first race before he got sort of caught behind horses but did kind of stink last time. I don't know. I'm going to show you a Chad Brown stat that'll, blow your mind.
Really?
And, we had that. Remember that stat he showed for Todd Pletcher the other day with that great number when he was like 50%, and that maiden ran off and won, the layoff numbers with his maidens? I love these stats for guys like Todd Pletcher and Chad Brown. And they both have these interesting stats where they have these blowout numbers, and they just seem to work. And this horse, he's not going to be a long price, but he's not going to be a super Chad Brown.
Wow.
How about this? Maiden special, maiden claim on the turf at Saratoga.
You blew my mind.
All right? They're paying 7 and change, and...
That's the thing that blows your mind.
They're not $4 horses. Glynn County, same thing. Jonathan Thomas dropping, got it from Jimmy. And turn of events. I mean, I know he's out his chances, but you got to admit he could just win.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But Seize the Day is a crazy...
He's interesting, to say the least.
I mean...
It's an interesting... Like I said, when I picked him, I almost said to myself, so it's probably scratch. But
yeah. All right, we'll see what happens. Anyway, it's a fun day of racing, so looking forward to it.
I left my 40 home. I can't even claim them today.
Really?
I don't have it with me.
Well, you're up 40 at the meet. It's probably your Naira Bets account. There's probably like 50 in there. What are you talking about? Such a liar. Speaking of Naira Bets, head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member.
That's a
We will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code SPA for new members. And once you're a member, the $5 bonus. $25 on the last race here, and $25 on the fourth at Del Mar. Maximum Security 101 buyer yesterday. Watched it. Tough race to judge, but he did come back and win, so good for him.
I thought he ran really, really well.
Beat a nice horse in midcourt. $250 buy-in. Every Sunday a contest. It opens. The registrations for these contests always opens on Tuesdays, by the way. Get more information. Register now. It's today. All cash prizes. Also, Saratoga Live. Watch live all summer, all day long. 1 to 6:30 today. Anthony?
You can watch it with me over at Prime. We still got some availability.
You'll be at Prime today?
Yeah.
You'll be at Prime. And have a safe trip back to New York. Say hi to Phyllis for me.
I will.
Hi, Phyllis. I know she's watching.
Yep.
Any moment she can spend with her wonderful son. Is she going to have a Welcome Anthony sign up? Anyway, Johnny I.
Yellow ribbon around the
Johnny
old
I
oak
going to
tree.
wrap up the final reprise, the scratches and changes, the full reprise of week number 2 as we head upstairs. The voice of New York racing.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Saratoga Racecourse. Mostly sunny skies on this Sunday. The temperature will be in the mid to upper 80s. Main track fast, turf course is firm. The portable rail is up on the melon turf at 12 feet and on the inner at 9. The Empire 6 begins today in race.